Congratulations! You just won $200 million. Assuming you survive the lawsuits, the fake cousins, and the guy who's about to claim he bought this ticket for you, you might actually get to enjoy some of it. Step 1. Do nothing. And I mean nothing. Don't post it. Don't tell your group chat. Don't walk into work tomorrow and flip your desk over. Most states give you a claim window, sometimes months long, and we're going to use every single day of it. But first, do not lose that ticket. People have genuinely lost million-dollar tickets in the wash. Sign the back right now. Take 12 photos of it like it's a crime scene. Then get it into a safety deposit box because your glove box is not a vault. Now let's build your team, starting with a lawyer who specializes in exactly this. Yes, that's a real job. Yes, it costs a fortune. And yes, you're about to hand this stranger enormous financial control over your life, which, spoiler, has gone historically badly for other winners in ways we'll get to. Here's the bad news nobody warns you about. In a lot of states, you legally cannot stay anonymous. Your name becomes public record the second you claim. A trust might help. It might not. Depends entirely on where you live, and the laws change constantly. Basically, get ready to be doxxed by your own government. Meanwhile, your phone is already ringing. It's your boss, annoyed you're late. Resist every urge to quote your bank balance to him and simply put in your notice like a normal person, because burning that bridge now just gives people a reason to come after you later. Okay, phone off. Let's talk about the actual threat here. And it's not strangers, it's the people already in your contacts. There's a case out of Florida. Guy wins $30 million, does the generous thing, helps his community, helps his friends. A few years later, he's reported missing. They eventually find his body under a slab of concrete. The person convicted wasn't a random criminal. It was someone who'd worked her way into his inner circle after the win, promising to protect his money. Another guy wins $20 million in Illinois, takes care of his family for years, and ends up kidnapped and killed by his own sister-in-law and her boyfriend. Notice a pattern. It's never the stranger with a gun outside a gas station. It's always someone already sitting at your dinner table. So here's the move. Decide right now, before you touch a single dollar, exactly how much goes to family. Lock it in a separate trust. Let your lawyer be the villain who says no, so you don't have to be. All right. Weeks of paperwork later, it's finally time to claim your prize, and this is where a lot of winners get blindsided in front of a room full of cameras. That giant novelty check with your face next to a 9-figure number is basically a wanted poster for every con artist and armed lunatic in the country. Good news, though. You don't actually have to show up for the press conference. The oversized check photo happens either way. You can send a body double, wear sunglasses and a hat that isn't embarrassing enough to go viral, or just quietly collect your normal-sized check with 0 cameras in the room. But when you look down at that check, here's your first gut punch. It's way smaller than the billboard number. You've got 2 options. Take the full jackpot spread out over roughly 30 years, or take the lump sum, which is usually about half. Everybody takes the lump sum. Then taxes take another enormous bite, and the amount already withheld is almost never enough to cover what you'll actually owe later. So that $200 million? Say hello to your new, much smaller, still life-changing $70 million. Deposit that check and you'll notice something else uncomfortable. Standard bank insurance only covers a few $100,000 per account. Everything above that is technically unprotected. Big banks rarely collapse, and historically most depositors get made whole even when they do. But your financial team is still going to insist on spreading that money across multiple places because probably fine isn't really a strategy. Now comes the fun part. The house with the ocean view. The watch you've wanted since you were 19. The private chef, the on-call doctor, the trainer who shows up whenever you text. You're realizing in real time why rich people apparently live longer. No work stress, no bill stress, actual sleep. It's honestly kind of unfair how good this feels. Then your lawyer calls, and the tone in his voice tells you this isn't good news. Turns out, internet strangers have traced your new house back to you anyway. Someone's been snapping photos of you doing your groceries. Your name and your address are suddenly not a secret anymore. Your phone doesn't stop now. Except it's not friends anymore. It's strangers mailing letters about their sick kid, their unpaid rent, their business idea that just needs 50 grand to change everything. Someone shows up at your gate. This is usually the point where winners hire actual security, because sadly, this is basically a rite of passage. And look, some winners have had it much worse than letters. There are documented cases of lottery winners getting robbed, kidnapped, even killed, almost always in situations where their new wealth became public knowledge in an unsafe environment. Your odds are a lot better in a quiet neighborhood full of people who don't need your money. Still, it's a real risk that never fully goes away. What actually erodes you day to day, though, isn't danger. It's the relationships. Friends you haven't spoken to since high school suddenly remember you fondly. Family you didn't know you had shows up with a heartfelt story and an outstretched hand. You have to get comfortable saying no over and over, and it will make you feel like a monster every single time, even though giving everyone what they ask for would empty the account in about 18 months. Then there are the so-called financial advisors circling like it's a buffet, pitching you confusing jargon until you've signed away a chunk of your portfolio for the privilege of underperforming a basic index fund. And somewhere in all this, you'll start noticing something weirder. People don't respect this kind of money the way they respect money someone worked 40 years for. You didn't earn it, you got lucky, and strangers will absolutely say that to your face. Multiple winners in interviews have described the exact same discomfort answering, "So what do you do now? Because I won a drawing," doesn't really land the same as a career. And at some point, someone is going to sue you. A guy claiming he actually bought the ticket, a forgotten verbal promise from a decade ago. This is exactly why you photographed everything on day one, because paperwork is the only thing standing between an annoying lawsuit and losing millions in court. So here's the actual scoreboard after all of this. The internet loves saying 70% of lottery winners go broke. Other sites say 1 in 3. Neither number holds up. Real long-term studies put bankruptcy rates for lottery winners in the single digits, nowhere close to the doom and gloom stat everyone repeats without a source. On top of that, actual research shows lottery winners report higher long-term life satisfaction, better physical health tied to lower chronic stress, and stronger social connections than the cursed winner myth wants you to believe. The murders and the bankruptcies make headlines because they're rare and dramatic, not because they're normal. Most winners don't get killed by someone they trust. Most don't end up broke. Most just quietly get the one thing this whole story was actually about the entire time: time, security, and finally a full night's sleep. If this saved you from becoming a cautionary tale someday, do yourself a favor and subscribe, because apparently your odds just went up.